Michael Reinsdorf held a press conference where he made some interesting comments about himself and the direction of the team, including the GM search. But with some of those comments that came from Michael Reinsdorf, we have to ask a legitimate question. Did the Chicago Bulls complicate their GM search? We're going to talk about that. And to end today's show, I'm here to let you all know why I'm holding off. For the future is bright talk. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you gotta hear the music first. Cognac, gang. Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, like talking Bulls basketball, even when we're still trying to figure out what we're doing, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe as we all try to work through this another trying time being a Chicago Bulls fan. But we love the team, so we're going to try to put our heads together and hopefully, they can turn this thing around. But let's talk about Michael Reinsdorf's comments that he made about the GM search and looking for guys to run their front office after firing Arturas Karnisovas and Marc Eversley. And I'm interested to know you all's thoughts. Do you feel that the GM search has now been compromised in a way, or does it make things more complicated per se? Michael Reinsdorf said this: if we interview someone and they are not sold on Billy Donovan, they're not sold on a Hall of Fame head coach. They're not sold on a person who has won championships in college, who has gone deep in the playoffs with Oklahoma City, who I believe with the Chicago Bulls every year, given the team he was given, I think he achieved really good results. Not the results that we wanted, but that's not because of Billy. So if someone isn't interested in Billy and Billy wants to be our coach and someone is not interested in that, then they're probably not the right candidate for us. End quote. I need to know your thoughts. I really do. Because for me, I don't think it's a sky is falling type of comment to where we need to be going berserk and, losing our minds over it. But it's definitely making us pause for a moment to wonder, what are we going to do and who are we going to go after? Throughout that press conference, Michael Reinsdorf also mentioned that the Chicago Bulls have already had 60 people. And I just want to know who are the 60 people that you already made contact with. And after hearing those thoughts, how many of those 60 people are like, yeah, I guess this is not the job for me? Because I always say, and there is a one side of the fan side and there is the NBA side. But I can tell you from my side that from watching Billy Donovan coach this team for the last few years, it has been underwhelming for me. However you feel about it is how you feel about it. But for me, it has been underwhelming. A lot of it could be due to the roster construction that Arturas and Marc Eversley gave Billy Donovan, which can be true. But some of the on-the-court stuff has me scratching my head as well, and it's not because my head is itching. You know what I'm saying? It's simply because when we talk about X's and O's, there's a lot of the times to where we watch Billy Donovan, we're like, bro, that's the play you drew up on out of the timeout. Or when there is a high pressure moment going against Rick Carlisle, going against Eric Spoelstra in certain matchups, hell, even in some of these other matchups versus OKC, even though that's a bit unfair because they whoop everybody, but keeping it just down to the minute stuff with Eric Spoelstra in pressurized moments, we look at those play-in games and you completely got out-coached every time. Then we talk about the reprimand process that comes along with Billy Donovan. We look at certain situations and we go dating back to where Zach LaVine was benched for something you didn't like that he did. Cool, fine, and dandy. The very next game, DeMar DeRozan is doing similar things. You don't bench him. We look at how you handle Montes Buzelis instead of, letting him know what he's screwing up at and sending him back out there on the basketball court. 9 times out of 10, you're benching him for that. Then we look at moments where Leonard Miller, a guy that's trying to develop, in just the last game, you sit him down after about 2 or 3 minutes at the start of the game because he did something that you don't like. And those type of things happen. So I don't think that we should fault him for every occurrence that has happened. But damn, sometimes are you going to reprimand somebody on a sideline and send them back into the game? That's just how I see it. That's just my thoughts on that. And I'm not saying Billy Donovan is a terrible coach. I actually think he's an average coach. I think that's just what it is. And I think that the Chicago Bulls within this search need to be in alignment with the vision to push this thing forward. I think that there is a possibility to where you can have a GM come in, retain Billy Donovan, and they could potentially be successful. But then I also think there's a flip side of that to discussion to where the new guy comes in, try to work with Billy, and he's gone. I think those are real possibilities. Now, let's keep in mind that Billy Donovan still has a decision to make, so this is a bit premature with talking about Billy Donovan being in the building. And I think that some guys that may be interested in this position may be waiting to find out what Billy Donovan's decision will be. Cool. But I think right now that could potentially be in the minds of certain candidates that could potentially want to look into getting hired by the Chicago Bulls. I think that can make things complicated. I think that can make people be a little bit standoffish when it comes to accepting a job from the Chicago Bulls. I think that it doesn't make everything bad, but I definitely think that it can complicate some things. Now, I just recently spoke about the fan side, and I gave you my personal beliefs on it. And there is a NBA side to where there could potentially be some guys out there to be like, man, I respect the hell out of Billy Donovan. I love what he does, et cetera, et cetera. That is a realistic side. I think that us fans, we have our opinions because we watch this team every single night. And then you're going to have some people that's been on the other side of the discussion to be like, hey, Billy, the front office that was in charge literally didn't do much to help him, which can be true. So does it completely destroy the GM search? No, I don't think that. But I think that it can be a bit complicated because what if someone wants to bring in their own guys to coach this team to have a play style that they believe is more conducive to winning, more so than what Billy Donovan is coaching on the basketball court? Because when we talk about schematics, we look at Billy Donovan and we say, what's up with all this damn drive and kick? Yeah, it can have some success, but we just found out when Ayo Dosunmu was traded and he started taking middies again, that was literally the last option instead of being sometimes the best option on the basketball court. But Billy Donovan did have a good rebuttal with, I let DeMar DeRozan shoot middies, which was fine. But what about these young players who want or need to evolve their game, evolve their shot selection to be more effective basketball players? Because at least right now, I think there are some limitations placed on Montes Buzelis. Some is due to him, but some is also due to what is being asked of him, because he knows that if he doesn't go out there and do what the coach is telling him, 9 times out of 10, he going to be sitting his ass down for some minutes. So I think there's a number of ways that you can go through and dissect this conversation, but I'm interested to hear how you all feel about it. And let me know, do you feel like the GM search has been compromised, or per se, have the Bulls complicated this said GM search? Let me know your thoughts and everything below. Now I want to move into the last part of the episode and let you all know why I'm holding off on, hey, the future is bright talk. However you fan, if you feel like that the future is bright, cool. I'm not judging. I'm just letting you all know where I stand on the future is bright talk. Do we have some players that I like? Yes. Montes Buzelis, Josh Giddey. Cool. Do I have some people that's intriguing? Yes. Leonard Miller. I personally like Rob Dillahan. Not a lot of people are on that side of the aisle with me, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. Yes, it can be true that the Chicago Bulls have draft capital, have money, and can have a really good offseason. But the reason I'm not jumping right into the feel good moment for myself per se is because I need to see action. I need to see action. I'm going to give credit to Michael Reinsdorf. He owned up and said that he failed. He said that he made some bad mistakes. He didn't check in well enough with the guys that was running the show. We can castigate him however you want to do it, and rightfully so. I respect that aspect of it. But now what do you do now? Obviously, again, it's a bit premature to have the discussion because the season has not concluded. We don't know if Billy Donovan is going to be here, and we don't know some of the candidates that the Chicago Bulls are going to be interviewing yet. But actions speak louder than words. I'm tired of hearing the same shit. For me, going down and hosting this show for the last few seasons, I heard that we're going to sit and work on continuity. I heard that we're going to wait on Lonzo Ball to get healthy. I heard that we're going to go out and try to get bigger in the paint with the front court. I heard a number of things from different people from this organization. And guess what? Lonzo Ball never came back the same. We never really found and solidified our center position. Continuity didn't work, and we were play-in bound. So I'm cool with anybody saying that they believe that the future is bright because what's available, that's cool. But on the flip side of that, doesn't matter what's available if the person that comes in and doesn't take full advantage of said opportunity that is available. The plan matters. The process matters. The coaching matters. The plan. How do you take those appropriate steps to turn this thing around and start headed in the right direction? If something tears off, injuries, losses, terrible things, how do you stay the course or readjust to get back on course? The coaching matters. How do you develop the people that you're going to bring into the organization to play on the basketball court? Coaching matters. How do you address not only the draft? Do you get aggressive in the draft? Do you remain conservative in the draft? Are all legitimate questions that I have and why I have to see action instead of just having hope. Hope has gotten me 3 play-in losses back to the same team in damn near the same fashion. So I need to see action. And after you move on from the draft, how do you address restricted free agency and free agency? Do you go out there and be aggressive and say, hey, Utah Jazz, we know y'all just traded for Triple J and got Larry Marketing. We're going to extend an offer to Walker Kessler. Hey, Jalen Durant, we know we probably don't have a chance to steal you from the Detroit Pistons, but guess what? We're still going to try to go out there and swing for the fences. Or Tari Eason with the Houston Rockets. What are we going to do? Or do we shift our focus to some free agents, to some guys that on the list that's not really that intriguing and just spend money that way to say that we did something? I believe it's making all sense because we need to have a direction. Positioning matters. The way that you position yourself moving forward matters. Here's a positive, though. We know that Michael Reinsdorf, his first hire was with AK after Jerry handed him the keys. The positive out of that is that he wasn't a meddling owner or said person in charge of the operation. That's a positive, but it can turn into a negative if You not doing your damn job to check in when this man traded Zach LaVine, traded Alex Caruso, didn't trade Andre Drummond, made draft selections that had everybody wondering, what the hell are we doing? So it can be a positive, but it can also be a negative if you're not continuously checking in and holding those said guys to a standard that requires us to be at our best. And then, lastly, that person you do bring in, after you go through all this, you go through the draft, you go through free agency, you gear up for the season. How long do you wait and say, you know what? We like these players. It's time to move on. It's time to pivot. It's time to do this. Or see somebody become available that you've been scouting, because the scouting department is going to be crucial in all of this too, as well, to get back to where we are winning. So you say, you know what? This team, looking at their cap situation, they're not going to be able to do this. Let me make a phone call and try to snag this young player that's over there excelling. Let me try to figure that out. Get a deal on a bargain like Charlotte got for Kobe White. Get a deal on a bargain like the Minnesota Timberwolves got for Ayo Dosunmu. We need a GM with some foresight like that. You want to know why? Look at the Memphis Grizzlies. It wasn't working with Ja Morant, Triple J, and Desmond Bane. Let's get rid of these guys at their peak, and let's stockpile these draft picks so we can reshape this thing out and have a clearer vision and have a way that we can trust our process to bring in younger talent on cheaper deals and see if we can find and build out something that's more sustainable. Look at the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young took these guys far in the playoffs, bowed out in Madison Square Garden. Guess what? After so many years, it wasn't working with Trae. But guess what? We did our due diligence and found young pieces to have on this team to where we can move off Trae Young and then be successful. And look at the Boston Celtics. Come on, man. Everybody thought there was going to be a gap year. They're right back in the mix. And if they win a championship, that is crazy. And the reason I gave you all these examples is to say success is not linear. It doesn't have to be one way or no way. These are three different examples of teams, their front offices just moving smart, moving diligently to remain in position to strike when the iron is hot. That's what it's about. So until we have and see more than just an offseason of Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and DeMar DeRozan of coming in here, I don't believe I can go out there and fool myself once more. They have to show me. Will I celebrate those wins if those wins start to come next season? You absolutely damn right. I would never apologize for winning. However, there needs to be a GM that has foresight to keep the train rolling. Before I jump on anybody's bandwagon to support them, like we supported AK blindly, was getting smacked around by this front office that just got relieved of their duties. We deserve better. You deserve better. And I ain't telling you how to fan. I'm just letting you know where I stand. Where I stand. Let's get this thing rolling in the right direction. Let's go out there and draw this picture of sustained success. We all deserve better. And that's why I'm going to leave it at, man. So that's why I'm holding off on my bright future talk. I need to see actions, man. That's where I stand. Y'all let me know where y'all stand with this whole thing. And, man, drop those comments down in the comment box below, man. I hope y'all feeling it. I was feeling it. I wanted to get it off. And I hope that it was a good way to get it off. But, hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man, for always tuning in. It's been a long fucking season, man. And much appreciation goes to you all who have been continuously showing up and rocking and rolling with us over here. Much is appreciated, man. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Try to see red. Y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace. Cognac.